Hello, my name is Julie and this is Stamp with Julie Baum. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And I'm here today to show you a card tutorial so that you can learn how to make this adorable hippo card. Let me tell you a little bit about the products. We are in the midst of our SaleABration. This is going on July and August of 2022. And these are products that can be earned free with a $50 purchase. You can get this adorable stamp set called Hippest Hippos, which I will be using. And for a separate $50 purchase, you can earn the dies that coordinate with it for free. And honestly, the dies that are shown here are so adorable. I plan to use a lot of these extra little pieces with items that aren't necessarily even hippos. For instance, the little water splashes, the umbrella, the hearts, even the little goggles and glasses, just so cute. So these are the main products that we'll be using today. Let me tell you about our papers. All right, we are starting with a card base out of, I just forgot the color of my blue. Let me see here. This is Balmy Blue. Yes, it's a very light blue, like a sky blue. This is Balmy Blue. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4, a very traditional card base size. Then I have a white piece of cardstock. This is our basic white cardstock, 4 inches by 5 1/4. This is going to go on the inside of my card. Then I have several other pieces. As you can see from this card, there are lots of little bits and pieces. So I have a scrap of white cardstock that I'll stamp my hippo on. I have a scrap that I can use to punch a cloud out. I have a scrap that I'm going to use to stamp and punch my words out for the front of the card. And this is a scrap of some designer series paper that I am using for the boat. Now, besides those pieces, I also have gone ahead and done some die cutting for all my other little pieces. In fact, here is the boat once it's been die cut. Here is the little mask and snorkel, so our hippo can have all the little water accessories. I have a little piece of white cardstock here that's die cut. This is the boat motor or the propeller. Then I have out of Mango Melody a little piece that is cut with the life preserver. Let me punch those little pieces out. And you could certainly change up these colors depending on your mood. I used real red for my snorkel. I used Daffodil Delight for the scuba mask. I mentioned the white, and then I used Tahitian Tide for these little water splashes. So those are all the other extra pieces that we're going to need once we are ready to assemble the card. And I did die cut those before filming. It only took like 1 or 2 passes through the die cut machine because you can cut lots of pieces out at once. Now, I did also cut some waves. Let me move these little bits out of the way so I don't misplace them. So I did also cut some waves. I started with some Tahitian Tide cardstock. And let me see if I can show you how this went. Okay, so this was a strip of the Tahitian Tide cardstock. Let me slide everything up here a little bit more so you can see. There we go. There's a wave die that is part of the set of dies. It looks like this. And so I created my wave. I also moved this and continued the wave when I was doing my die cutting so I could get a longer piece. So this piece of cardstock started out at 4 1/4 inches and probably about 1.5 inches wide. And then I'm going to be using both the piece that is designed to be cut out, that has the little waves on it, and also the negative piece that's left over. So I did that 3 times. I did it twice using Tahitian Tide strips of cardstock, and I did it once using a white strip of cardstock. So I essentially have 6 little wavy pieces that I'm going to be putting together for the little ocean on my card. So the first thing that I'm going to do is do some attaching of my waves. So let me show you how I did this. I found the ones that matched, so I needed to have a blue, I'm going to call this a soft wave. This is actually the design from the die. And then I found the coordinating white piece out of that same soft wave, and I just lined it up right underneath it, so just a hint of the white is showing. If you can see that, I wanted a hint of white because often in the ocean you have that white foamy part, but I didn't want big complete white waves. So just taking a little bit of adhesive, and to make this easier for our final assembly, I just went ahead and attached these 2 pieces together. I might mention right now that this was one of 3 cards that we made at Stamp Club this month, July of 2022. And the other cards will be featured in separate videos as well. All right, so you can see how I have the Tahitian Tide piece attached to the white piece with just a little hint of white showing. Now I did that a second time, but with the kind of the negative piece of the wave die. I'm going to call this I called the first one a soft wave. This one is more of a pointy wave. And same thing, I can line it up, and I'm going to attach the blue on top of the white with the white piece only sticking out a tiny bit. Much of the time spent on this particular card is getting all of your pieces set up, and then the assembly goes quite quickly. All right, so out of the 6 wave pieces that I started with, I now have these 2 that are glued together and these 2 that are glued together. From there, I'm going to create my little wavy ocean on the front of the card. So I'll bring in that Balmy Blue card base. And I'm starting at about 2 or 2 1/4 inches from the bottom of my card front to begin building my little ocean waves. And what I recommend is that you kind of lay this out first before you do any gluing. And that way you can play with which pieces you want to come next. You can even flip them over if you want the waves to kind of appear like they're coming from a different direction so they don't all match up. All right, so we can go this way. We can add the next one of these. Again, I'm just getting an eyeball. Okay, I'm going to switch my plan a little bit. For one thing, I think I'll start with this one. Each time you do it, you're going to have this decision to make because it's just all slightly different depending on how your die cuts came out. All right, then maybe this one with the sharper waves is going to go next. Then my second one that has a little bit of white is going to go next. And this final piece is going to go last. So that's the order I'm going to do it. I do want to slide them all down so that the entire front of the card is covered. So now that I have my order figured out, I'm going to begin attaching these. And I am going to slide this one down a little bit more. If you're worried about it, of course, you can always make a little mark so that you know once you pick this up where to lay it right back down too. Okay, now another little hint When you attach your first wave, whether you use your liquid glue or I'm going to use tear and tape on this one, you do want to put the adhesive only at the bottom. The reason for that is when we're ready to assemble the card, this little bow is going to need to tuck down behind the top of the waves. So that's why we don't want adhesive at all along the top edge of this first piece of waves. All right, so I'm going to use my tear and tape for this right along the bottom. There will be a lot of information in the description below this video, including dimensions and a product list, also shopping links so that you can find things easily, both Stampin' Up! Shopping links and also Amazon shopping links. Okay, so as I mentioned, I want to start at about 2 or 2 1/4 inches up from the bottom of my card front. I do have my little pencil marks there, so that makes it really easy. Now you'll notice that my waves are hanging off the sides. That is intentional because I want to make sure they go completely across, and then I'll snip off the sides afterwards. Okay, when we add the next waves, we don't need to be so worried about where the adhesive goes or doesn't go, only on that first one. So I'm going to get this second layer in place, and I'm scooting it down as far as I can, but without letting any of that balmy blue show between the layers of the waves. I did get the inspiration from this card, from a different card that I saw, and hers was lovely as well. She did not have any white in the waves, and that is what I kind of decided that it needed. So I altered, even though I was casing that card, I did alter it a little bit as I went along. All right, so this is essentially the third set of waves that's going on here. Remember, we had 2 glued together at once, so this is 2, 3, and these 2 are glued together, 4, 5, and then my final one is my 6th wave, like so. Okay, and only in the video I didn't actually pull this down quite enough, so there's going to be a little bit of blue at the bottom, but I'm just teaching you how to do the card. Your finished product, you're going to pull it down a little bit lower so there's no balmy blue showing. I just don't want to take the time to redo this. Let's just get it finished and move on to creating the rest of the card. All right, so you can see I kind of went back and forth between tear and tape and my liquid glue. This bottom one is kind of going on multiple layers here, so I thought maybe that would hold better with my tear and tape. All right, so I'm going to pull this down as low as I can without any of that previous wave showing. And there is a little bit down here showing. The whole thing should actually be down a bit further. Okay, once your waves are glued on, you can just take some long bladed scissors and trim off the excess. So now your waves go side to side without any break. All right, at this point, we're going to be ready to put our little hippo into the boat and all of the rest of the dress up. So I think I need to get my hippo done. So here we go. I'm just using black ink. And stamp the hippo. This is going to get die cut. And I am going to add some color on here with my Stampin' Blends. While I've got my black ink out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside card, inside panel, and then I can just move it out of the way. So it is going to say, "Love you a ton." I think that's very cute for a hippo themed card. And then I also need to stamp the words that are going to go on the front of the card. And this one says, "You're so hip," also in my black ink. All right, for the words, I'm just using a 1-inch circle punch. Our circle punches come and go. Sometimes they're available, sometimes they are not. So this one is a very old circle punch. Presently, there are circle dies that are available in the catalog. So if you don't have a circle punch, you can certainly use your dies. And I also have this retired punch. This was a 1 7/8 scallop. Same thing. You can find something that will totally work either in your punch collection or perhaps the circle dies. So I'm going to punch this out of here. All right, now we've got lots of pieces that we can work with. All right, this is going to go inside the card. We will glue that in a little bit. Our white stamped circle is going to get mounted on top of this yellow. I kind of liked it on the yellow because it's going to hint at the sunshine up in the sky. And then I have our cloud punch. And I'm only going to punch one cloud. Watch what I do here. Get my one cloud first. And then I'm going to cut it and create 2 clouds out of the one. Oh, sorry, I wanted to reach for my trash there. All the little pieces with glue are sticking to me. So I took my cloud and some scissors, and I just cut a nice straight line. This is going to turn one cloud into 2 clouds. So I'm going to put this one over here, right up against the edge of the card. And this one on the other side. So we just got a nice puffy cloud sky out of just one little cloud punch. All right, this is going to go here, but let's get our hippo and boat in place. So I've seen the hippo colored several different ways. You can completely decide what you want to do. I've seen it in grays, I've seen it in blues. I did a different card tutorial where I did the dancing hippo card, the ballerina. And on that one, I did the hippo's face out of the petal pink. I want the light petal pink. Here we go. So I did her little face in this color. And then I also did her tummy in the same color. So at Stamp Club this week, I had an example of hippo colored this way and also hippo colored with light and dark gray. And honestly, it was kind of split. I had some class members that liked the all gray and some that liked it this way. So it's up to you how you want to color the hippo in. I am curious to find out what you think is your favorite, the gray and the pink or all gray. And I think I have both versions to show you so we can, I'm looking for the other one. so we can kind of take a vote. All right, so everywhere that I did not color the pink, the petal pink, I'm adding my gray, and I'm using gray granite. Smoky slate also looks very good. I'm leaving the little toes uncolored because I'm going to go back and do those with the petal pink in the dark. All right, so just a little dark petal pink here. Maybe a little bit of color in the cheeks and the lips. And then if you want, I mean, you have your markers sitting right there. If you want to take your dark and just add a little bit of shading, there would probably be a little bit of darker down here. I think I'll give the ears a little bit of dark. All right, like so. So I'm going to step just out of camera so that I can cut this out using the Hippo die. And the Hippo die looks like, where is it? There we go. I have a bunch of working dies out here so that I don't misplace them. So here is the little Hippo die. So let me cut that out and I will come right back into on screen. I'm using my Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. This would also fit in the mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss if that's the one that you have. And then once I have that cut out, we're ready to put the rest of the card together. All right, here we go. The first thing I'm going to do is get that inside panel glued down. Then I don't have to think about it again. Then we'll complete the front of the card. So I'll take my boat and just kind of tuck it in, kind of determine where I'm going to want it. And then you can decide to glue the boat down and then tuck the hippo in, or you can go ahead and glue. I'm going to glue the hippo to the boat and do it all at once. All right, so I need a little bit of glue just at the bottom of my hippo, kind of like from the waist down. Does a hippo have a waist? All right, about like that. Just over his tail is the way it ends up being. Then I'll put a little bit of adhesive down here at the bottom of my boat and tuck it in. And remember, I can tuck it here because I did not put adhesive on the back part of those waves. All right, so there's my little hippo in the boat. The boat has a little propeller that looks super cute if you attach that. And it too can slip down just below the wave there. Cute. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a dab of glue back here just to put that part of the hippo down. Okay, and all of our little accessories for the hippo. So we have the little life preserver. I think the life preserver would be really cute in white also, but this particular card needed just more color because there was a lot of white already going on. So that's attached to the side of the boat. And some of these pieces are so tiny that you may want to use some little reverse scissors. Super helpful. I think they're also called cross-lock scissors. These can be found on Amazon.com, and I'll put a link for those. This is actually an old pair. I was just telling the gals that I think I need to update my scissors. But the nice thing about this is I can hold onto it with my scissor, put my little tiny dabs of glue, and then I'm not getting glue on my fingers, and it's just easier to hold this way. Okay, and then flip it over and put it in place. There's the mask. Oh, so cute. And then let's do the snorkel. So it goes this way. I'm going to flip it over, hold on to it with my scissors to put the glue on. Put that in place. All right. Now, these little splashes, these little water splashes, let me just tell you, I absolutely love our Take Your Pick tool, everything about it. I love both sides of this end. I like that I can put my dye brush in here. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of is this putty end. I think it's kind of difficult to work with, and I don't like that it dries out and you then have to refill it. So instead of using that, I have a really inexpensive little crafting tool that has little sticky ends on it. I think this is from a craft store or perhaps Amazon as well. I will put a shopping link for this. I'll show you what I like this for. This picks up all these little tiny pieces. So I'm going to lay out my splashes kind of where I want them to be. Now again, this is designed to do that, but I struggle with it. If you don't struggle with it, then that's fantastic because that's really what it's made for. But I have a lot better luck with this tool. All right, so my splashes are going to go kind of like that. So what I do, instead of trying to hold on to the little splash, even with the tweezers, put the glue on and then get it on there, I just lay them out, and I'm going to move this one out of the way, put my dab of glue, and put it back. For me, that's just the easiest way to do it. Got a little glob on here. Let's take care of that. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move this one out of the way, put my dot of glue right where I know this is going back. Yes, and then this tiny one back here. Like so. All right, so there's my splashes. We're almost finished. I'm going to take a dimensional and put it on the back of this piece just to pop it up a little bit. And again, as I mentioned, I like the yellow background on this with it up here in the sky. It kind of hints at it being maybe the sunshine. Like so. And there we have our happy sailing hippo and the inside of the card. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this was one of 3 cards from Stamp Club July of 2022. Look for all of the information that you need, including my website and the shopping links down below in the description of this video. And I hope to hear from you. I would love for you to leave me a comment. And I do thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.